Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Robert Clone. I am a former member of the Mass Bears and Cops board of directors. Now I'm a volunteer, and tonight we have a very interesting night, at least for me. We're going to be talking to Drew Swift, right? Swint?
Swint.
Smith. All right. Yep. Said it wrong. Sorry about that. And
we're
going to be talking about. No, it's all good. So we're going to be talking about games and Boston Gamers and all that good stuff. So Drew, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
Yeah, my name is Drew. Like you said, I have been with the Boston Gamers since almost its inception. It was created in 2017, and I joined about 2 months after, which is great. And now I'm actually on the board. Essentially, we call it the final bosses because, again, it's game related. But yeah, we're Boston Gamers. We're a queer, gaming group in Boston and the greater area. And yeah, we just it's a big just love group. We just have so much fun, and it's just a big community.
Awesome. And can you give us a little bit of the history of Boston Gamers? When did they start? Why they decided to form this group? Who are the members? I'm curious about to know everything about you guys.
Yeah. So yep, 2017. I think around February, right before PAX East, which is a big video game convention held here in the city. It brings in thousands upon thousands of people, companies from all across the world, gaming related, and it brings people from all around the world, which is really cool. And the first event was kind of people meeting up afterwards and kind of talking about the event and how everything went. And then it kind of just blossomed from there. It was kind of a small, tight-knit group, probably 15, 20 people. And then it slowly started to pick up pace, and primarily we're on Discord. I don't know if you're familiar with Discord. Are you?
Yes.
Okay, so Discord is an online community. Think AOL chat rooms, but much cooler.
Oh, wow.
So you have communities. So you have, Boston Gamers. There may be a developer for a game who has a Discord specifically for them, and people can join. And you can kind of create rooms and offshoots of kind of different conversations. And so Boston Gamers is primarily based in that. We do have Twitter, we do have Facebook, Instagram, all of the likes, but Discord is our main hub. It's pretty neat. We're 800 members strong now since 2017. So it's ramped up, especially because of COVID. But it started out small. Small group of friends kind of just created a group for people to meet, people to who have similar interests when it comes to gaming, and whether it be board games, video games, VR, online games, MOBAs, tabletop games, Dungeons and Dragons, card games, any kind of game really to engage people and kind of create the community. We really just wanted to be the forefront of that in the Boston area. So slowly but surely, we know with PAX East and other PAX events and Comic-Cons and different kind of conventions, we slowly but surely started to gain members. But we also started hosting in-person events, not just online ones. So playing things like Pokemon Go on a weekend during a community event, or we had Halloween parties at Cathedral as well as Alley, and we'd have Mario Kart up on the big TVs, and people would be having a great time. Or we'd have just board game nights where people could kind of come meet and engage. And it's been a pleasure, but darn you, COVID.
I know that changed everything for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning already. Part of my naivete on this subject, but what is your favorite game genre, if there's any?
For me, I like puzzles. So any kind of puzzle, any kind of, escape the room, or if it's kind of like answering riddles, or solving complex math problems, or random things like that. I love them, as well as RPGs, if you're familiar with those role-playing games.
Yes.
Kind of creating an avatar and going into a world and pretending that you are someone, and kind of escapism, which is great. But yeah,
that's really cool.
definitely those.
Now that you mentioned that, I was doing my research earlier today and yesterday about the gaming world. I was talking to a friend of a friend of a friend who was saying that they had this major crush on a character from one of those games, and I don't remember the game, so I apologize. But they were saying, he was telling me like it was like a story of the whole video game, and I guess he has like 20 or 30 something different stages, and he had a crush on this person to a point that he was in love seriously with the character. Does that ever happen to you, or is that normal?
That doesn't happen to me, but I think the developers know what they're doing when they make these games.
Of course.
And they obviously are creating characters that people will, one, either associate with, two, find attractive, or three, are just very relatable characters, and people are kind of drawn to that. And for example, in Legends of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Prince Sidon, is a lot of people's favorites. And it's one of those things where you're talking about an anthropomorphic fish person.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but a lot of people love this character, and it's enjoyable, it's fun, it's but I can see people really falling for characters, because it's almost that knight in shining armor trope kind of deal, where they're always fantasizing about someone like that. But yeah.
Also, now listening to you talking about this, it reminds me, remember when Avatar, that lots of people were posting online the crush on whatever the name of the main character was, and the guy that went back and forth between the two worlds. And that was crazy to me. It's like, well, it's not real. So how do you fall in love with something that is not real? I mean, I get the like of the game or the movie or the whatever it is, but falling in love, that's kind of intense. Or maybe.
Yeah. Well, you got to be careful in the nerd world, because there's two different types of Avatar. There's Avatar, the blue people, and then there's Avatar, the Last Airbender.
Yes.
So, which people love both. I mean, unless it's the next Shyamalan, we don't talk about that.
That's another subject, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. We that's.
Yeah, of course. What is it? What? All right. And what is your favorite game of all times?
My favorite game of all time is definitely a game called Tales of Symphonia. RPG, kind of like what I was telling you before. It has games for me that have the capability of you replaying it and experiencing a different story throughout each time you play it is exciting. And, it's worth the money too, because games can be very expensive. But yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. It's you start as a young man who falls in love with a young girl, and they're going on an adventure, but she's turning into an angel and he's trying to save her, and it just goes downhill from there with monsters and different like factions and going and war against each other. And but it's a near and dear to my heart, because it was one of the first RPG games that I ever played when I was a kid. So
that's really interesting. To me, this is all foreign, and I think it's time for me to come out of the closet again. I am not a gamer. I don't think I ever play a video game. Maybe gosh, I don't remember. I mean, other than
you never played like Mario? You never played like any of
I've
those
seen
games?
it. No, I've seen
Okay,
them, but I
well, let
don't
me know.
think I ever actually sat down and play.
Have you
I'm
ever gone to like Dave and
a
Buster's
guy.
or played on a an arcade game? No, nothing like that.
No, from a young age, I
Yeah.
was just into classical music, and that was my entire universe. So now I'm
Okay, that's
coming out of that.
well. You're definitely invited to the next Boston Gamers event. You'd be very welcome there. So no worries.
I'm gonna need a lesson, a tutorial.
It's fine. Just stay away from the very complicated games for now. We'll start you off small with some lighter games.
Perfect, perfect. And what is a popular game that everyone seems to love, that is very popular, and but you hate, you don't like it?
Games that, well, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for this because it is a very, very popular game, but I loathe Super Smash Brothers, um, which
I know that one.
it is. I mean, it is by all means a great game. It is. Um, it has a huge following, and it is very well done. It's just not my cup of tea. It's not the kind of game that I like. It's what we would. I mean, what I would consider a button masher, where you literally just are hitting buttons and going crazy. But it has extremely favorable characters: Mario,
Of
Luigi,
course.
Yoshi, and then it also has characters from Pokemon, from Final Fantasy. It's a video game where they pull together many different characters from many different franchises and mash them up, and then they all fight. So a lot of people really enjoy it.
That's cool. And you mentioned earlier that some of these games can be expensive. What is one of the cheapest game that is kind of fun, popular, but it's cheap? And what is the most expensive game that's out there, that, to your knowledge?
Well, video games in general, when they first come out, tend to be around like $60, right? Because they're new full-fledged games.
Oh, that's a
Um,
lot of money.
yeah, I mean it. There can be like what we consider indie games, which are not made by um, top tier developers or something like that, where you're getting just fun games that at a much cheaper price. I mean, there's some really great games like Cat Quest on the Switch, if you have a Switch, which is and a super fun game. It's on the cheaper side, but when you're going into board games and you're going into other types of genres of gaming, then that gets to be a little bit different. I think the most expensive board game that I own is $400. Um,
Wow, that's a lot of money.
yeah, well, I'm also had no time on my hands when I was younger. but
Right.
but then you get into things like Magic the Gathering, which is a card game that is collectible. You play against other people. You can play online. You can play in person when it's safe. But that tends to be very expensive because you're constantly buying packs to get the next best card. Or you're buying packs to get the card that you need to round out your deck. So that can range into the thousands, many a thousands. There's even cards worth $25,000, $30,000. So I mean, you're probably never going to see one in your lifetime, but there's people out there who do collect these things and
Of course.
enjoy it. But like, I was just going through my collection the other day and I found out that I have a holographic Charizard Pokemon card that's worth $600, and I was like jumping for joy because I was like, wow, I'm so glad 10-year-old me kept this card for so long.
Yeah, you're lucky that you found it.
Yeah, no, I was very happy.
Wow, that's interesting. You see, I had, for me, when I think of game these days, it's just video games. So which one do you prefer, video games or board games? What's your favorite?
Um, that's tough. Just because I love all different types of games. I play video games religiously. I mean, I probably spend maybe 3 to 4 hours a day playing video games, depending on what's going on. I mean, this is really cutting into my video game time right now, but not. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, because of the pandemic, I haven't played board games nearly as often because a lot of the games do require more people, and as much as 2-player games are fun, sometimes you want to play with more people. But games like Dungeons and Dragons, which I've been a fan of for the past decade, I play with friends 3, sometimes 4 times a week, which is nice. That takes about like 2 or 3 hours, depending on who you play with. But yeah, it's a very different mindset when you're playing different types of games. So when it comes to a video game, if I'm playing a video game by myself, I obviously want to be immersive in a story. I want to have fun. I want to explore. I want to do all these different things. When it's a board game, I want to find the winning strategy. I want to crush everyone, and I want to leave them behind and declare myself as the winner because I am very competitive. But when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons, you're role-playing. You're kind of digging into your creativity and ad-libbing and all these different things, and changing your persona to kind of fit a situation, which is pretty neat because you may be playing a character that has completely different morals than yourself, and you have to, what we say, meta. You kind of have to meta that out, and you have to be able to say, no, I don't care about that, person down the street. Let them die. And it's like in real life, you'd be like, oh my God, I need to save them. But it's very different.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really good, though.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Did I ask you, for someone like me, that I'm not been playing board games or any kind of games, how do you talk to someone like me? Let's say we're hanging out with friends, and
yep.
I'm not a gamer. You are. How do you get me to play a game?
I would. Well, one, I would just throw you in. But there are games that are very user friendly for people who are not gamers. Some being, games that you can play by yourself. Some games being that you could play with a large group. My family is, we've played board games growing up. We played card games growing up, and games that people can enjoy, that that they'll enjoy right off the bat, is a lot of fun. So games like Codenames, it's very simple to learn. It's very simple to teach, very fast. You play with teams. Or Jackbox. Jackbox is a game that you can play on the TV using your phone. So, everyone's already glued to their phones. They don't really need to worry about anything. They just log into a website and then you play a game. And there's multiple games that you can be playing on that one. So that's really neat. Cool. That's always it's a great introduction. I've introduced a lot of people to those games, especially, like, to me, you seem like you would be a very educated, and you seem to have like a lot of knowledge about different things. So I would say, let's play Murder Trivia Party, and it asks questions throughout the game, and it creates a twist of a like Jeopardy style, or kind of,
that sounds fun,
multiple answer. Yeah. So they take fun situations that a lot of people already participate in and put a little twist on them, which is really cool.
Now just listening to you talking about this, I take back, I have played before similar games in Canada, which I live half of the time. It's when you go to see the movie, to the movie theater, watch a movie, prior to the movie, instead of watching TV commercials and all that, you play a video game with your cell phone. You have to connect, you have to download the app, and it's a competition among people just waiting to watch the movie. And it's so much fun. You get prizes, you get popcorn, or and it's a lot of fun. I have won actually 3 times.
So that is the perfect example of being able to kind of put people into a situation of gaming where they wouldn't otherwise think that they were, but they really are. So hey, if you're saying that you've won 3 times, I'm sure you're probably pretty good at other video games. You just don't know it.
Well, between the two of us, don't tell this to anyone. One of the times, the second time, it was only 2 people in the movie theater.
Stop right there. You won. But
perfect. And what are you playing right now? What game are you playing, or how many games are you playing, and what are you gonna play next?
Oh boy. I mean, I have a full 8-foot shelf full of video games, as well as an entertainment system full of video games. Meanwhile, I also have probably many downloaded onto the systems themselves. Right now, I've been playing a game called Slay the Spire, which is a rogue type game, meaning that you progress, you get stronger as you go, you die, you start all over. So that's an amazing game. That Hades, which is another rogue game, which is amazing. I've been playing a lot of Story of Seasons, which is one of those farming games that everyone always makes fun of, because I live in a city, but yet I'm farming on a video game system, which I don't mind, even though I grew up on farms my entire life and said I would never own a farm. But no, I mean, there are a lot of games coming out at the end of the month. One of my favorite franchises of all time is releasing a second game, and it's been over 20 years since that first original game came out, and that is Pokemon Snap. And as crazy as that sounds, it is one of my favorite video games. So it's very exciting to see that being released. So that is the game that I'm most looking forward to.
That's great. That's really cool. And what is more important to you on a game? Action or story? Or a combination of both?
It depends on the game, really. Because there are games that they have such incredible in-depth stories, but there's almost too much. And it's just like, let me just go hack a dragon in half and I'll deal with that later. But no, like games like Skyrim, which are so in depth when it comes to lore and history. I mean, it must have taken hundreds of hours for the developers to come up with these ideas. But they also made a great video game where you can fight dragons and fight other people. And I think there needs to be a balance between the two. Because if there's not, then I think it makes for a not as pleasant game. So I would say halfway, kind of down the line.
All right. And among the community of the Boston Gamers, what is a favorite genre? Tell me about the community. What do they like? What the likes and dislikes in terms of games?
Well, so one of the nice things about games in the recent years is that there's games that require a lot of people to play. So you have games like League of Legends, World of Warcraft, Path of Exile, Diablo. You've got all these games that allow multiple people to kind of come together and play online. They can be doing different things and playing all together at the same time, which is great. That's one of the things that we really enjoy doing. Or you can also have games like Mario Kart, where people are racing on a track, and but it's tough because we do have like different nights of the week where a lot of people play different games. Sundays we have League of Legends, which is great. We have probably like 15 people, 20 people who play that every Sunday. But or there might be just a random night where someone says, hey, I want to play this game. Is anyone down? Among Us, for example, which is a social deduction game where you're running around killing people on a spaceship.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry?
Do you guys compete among yourselves?
Oh, of course. We're gamers. We're very competitive.
Good.
But
who's winning?
Yeah, no, me. Always me. No, I'm just kidding. I will gladly admit defeat when defeat is due, but I will be damned if I will allow someone to beat me. I'm kind of the stuck in the mud, like, I'm not going to let you win. I'm going to screw you over until I win. Or if I'm not, if I don't want you to win, I'm going to help that person win. So,
yeah, I was going to ask you 1 to 10. How is it about winning or losing? Are you in the middle? But I guess you're more like a 20.
Yeah, safe to say.
That's the purpose of the game, right? It's just to win something.
Yeah, I blame my upbringing on that one. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad.
And you know, back to the group. How during this past crazy year that we love so much, how did you guys stay connected? How did you guys play? How was it last year? Or how has it been? Like,
surprisingly pretty amazing, because our group is based mostly online. I'd probably say even before the pandemic, I'd say probably 80% of our time was spent online. So it's actually just kind of through word of mouth and Reddit and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, we skyrocketed in numbers of people in the area who were going online and seeking engagement. And I think we were kind of an escapism for that, because people were able to see this community of LGBTQIA plus members and be able to relate, play, have fun, and just kind of forget about the world around them for a moment and just be able to have a really good time, which I'm very glad that I have been a part of that. And, we've been, because of this, we've kind of decided that, hey, we need to strive to be, better than we've ever been before, because we do want to be a space for everyone. And, sometimes there's perceptions of gamers that it can only be, the bearded guys, in their mom's basement that play video games all day long. And it's like, no, there's so many people out there who, whether it be from casual gamer to professional gamers, I mean, because that is a profession now, like, we have the community to be able to play that. And that's one of the things that I've kind of also loved, is that we've kind of nurtured that there is no disconnect between the people who are professional and the people who are new. We want to foster that and help people if they're interested in a game, or, hey, I don't know anything about this game. Can someone explain it to me? Is it worth the, $5, $10, $15? And they can seek kind of peer reviews on things, or, hey, I just got started in this game and I have no idea what to do. Can someone help me? Yeah, hop in the voice chat, hop on stream. We'll walk you through what you need to do, maybe give you some tips. And it's really just nurtured a fun environment.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm very proud to.
And you can do that on your website, right?
Yeah, right on Discord. Yeah.
Perfect. That I was going to ask you. So it's easy for, let's say, someone like me that I'm not a gamer, just go into your website and start this conversation with someone on the other end.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to sign up for Discord.
Of course, of course.
Easy. It's free. That's one of the nice things. And then, like any kind of queer community, we have to be safe. We kind of have to vet a little bit to make sure that someone who's coming in is not just a psychopath trying to come in and post racial slurs and say horrible things about the queer community, which has happened in the past, unfortunately. But we have ways to protect against that. But yeah, no, you'd be able to come in, post your little bio, say, hey, these are the games that I love, or, this is the game I'm interested in playing. Can anyone help me? And I guarantee you within seconds, people would jump in and say, yeah, let's go. Like, let's have some fun. But
that's great.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about where we can find you aside your website. Are you on social media?
Yeah, I mean, we have Twitter and Facebook, and it's just that we update those. We do have a Facebook group, so you would be able to go into the group and post, and people would be able to answer. But the bulk of it is in Discord, unless we're doing an in-person event. It would mostly take place in Discord.
Awesome. And to talk about a little bit more about the Mass Bears and Cups, what is your relationship to the group, to the Mass Bears and Cups?
So this is actually a new relationship. We've known about Mass Bears and Cubs. I've known about Mass Bears and Cubs because I am a bear, self-proclaimed. But we as an organization are always kind of aware of the other queer ally groups around us, and we always look to partner with them. We always look to fundraise for them and kind of just coexist and have fun. But
perfect.
So we're really excited to kind of develop this relationship. So we're super excited that we were able to do this.
That's awesome. And I think that's the purpose of these videos, not only just to entertain the community of the gamers and the bears and the Cups and all that, but also to create new relationships and see what come up from relationships. So I'm sure it's going to be much better. And I was going to ask you, do you consider yourself a bear, a Cup, a flamingo, any of those labels? And that was a joke, by the way.
I would say that I'm a bear. I mean, I'm bigger guy, beard, bald. It's kind of the blessing of my genetics. I've always just been kind of a bigger guy. I did have a twink phase, don't get me wrong, but that was when I was in college. Yeah, 10 years ago I was a measly 150 pounds, and then now I'm 250 pounds, a glorious 250 pounds.
You look great.
Oh, thank you very much. But no, yeah, I've kind of always considered myself a cub or a bear, just because I've always been kind of on that line of, or even otter when I was younger, because I like, other than my back, like, it's hair except for my head. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. That started going when I was 21.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, it's contagious. I'm so sorry, everyone watching this. Yeah, watch your hairline. It's going to start receding after you watch this. I apologize.
You know who to blame, him. I'm sending an email to someone about this situation.
It's okay, because it's going to go from here to here, and it's going to be glorious. So
well, this has been 3 years and still nothing. Just the little shadow, if you can see.
This is like a month.
Oh, wow. I wish.
I was actually looking at photos earlier today, and my beard was like down to here during the quarantine. But unfortunately, I had to apply for jobs and I had to cut it off. So,
well, I guess you're lucky. I can grow hair at all. So you can tell.
No, it's good.
Next for Boston Gaymers.
I mean, once people are vaccinated and we can have safe and gatherings and just be able to be around each other, we would love to just be able to have another board game day or video game day at the alley or cathedral or anywhere that will host us, or have Pokemon Go days at the Common, or anywhere else in the Boston area where we can go out, be safe, and just kind of engage. Because trust me, even though we're gamers, we're all craving brunch, we're all craving a dance, we're all craving all of these social interactions that we've been lacking for the past year.
Shake hand even, so.
Exactly. Let's all just go to P-Town and we'll have a blast. It's fine.
Perfect.
But
that sounds cool. We should do that.
That would be great. Yeah, Boston Gamers, Mass Bears and Cubs. Yeah, we'll just do a giant meetup out in P-Town. Everyone is invited, even if you're not a gamer, even if you're not a bear or a cub or an otter or whatever. Yeah, that would be just a great time. I think everyone would love it. So
that would be so much fun. And one last question, I think. How can we get involved with your group? I know you mentioned that in different ways, but who can we contact? What is the best way to get involved and learn more in depth about your group, and maybe talk one-on-one like you and I are talking today?
Yeah, I mean, we have our Boston Gaymers at gmail.com if anyone ever wants to reach out to us about these kinds of things. But yeah, or you can reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All of those are easy avenues. If you don't want to download Discord, we're always active. There's a bunch of us who kind of keep our eyes out. We have a whole board of people who watch those and engage with the community, and we definitely want people to reach out to us. We've worked with Fenway Health, we've worked with Bagley, we've worked with so many others, just doing streaming and playing video games and raising money. It's been a great time, and we are always looking for other communities to tag along. We want to support each other. I think that's one of the greatest things our community can do, is support each other. Absolutely. So if anyone is watching this and they're interested in talking with a community of 800 plus people, reach out to us, please. We would love to just powwow and just go over anything that we can do as groups and empower our community. So
perfect. Who are some of the members of the board of your group?
Well, so we have a couple different, there's Matt and Austin, who are the founders of the Discord. And then there's myself, Caleb, Mike, and Alan. So we all, our board was kind of founded with 3 members. So Matt, Austin, and Alan. And then we decided that during the quarantine, because we were becoming such a large group, that we needed to have some kind of formal structure with everything that was going on. Because there are so many different avenues that we could go down with this group, that we wanted to make sure that we were kind of structured in a place that was going to be, safe and inclusive of everyone. So we have a BIPOC channel where anyone who identifies as BIPOC can come up. So we gave them the option to be able to choose a final boss, a board member, because we wanted to make sure that there was inclusivity in the board, as well as our women's chat, because we do want to have representation. And then there was 2 positions that were voted upon by the community at whole. I was fortunately one of those people who was voted for, and Caleb. And we're always looking for people to engage in our community. So we're always looking, if people are interested, we always welcome them to come into the Discord, hang out with us for a while. And then we actually have different tiers of engagement. So we have people who are on, so we have like engagement, we have moderation, because we obviously need people to moderate the Discord. We have events, all sorts of different things. So we have people who sit on these groups, and then we have what we call mid bosses, again, gaming related. So who kind of oversee those groups, and the final bosses oversee them, which is, I think, a great way for us to, anyone who wants to participate on those, groups can participate on those groups, because it's just there to empower the group and make us better in every way, shape, and form. We're always up to suggestions, and we always present the suggestions to the group as a whole if people want them to be. Our biggest goal is to make sure that every single person in our community has a place that they can go to make sure that they feel safe, enjoy what they're doing, playing games with others, and just being themselves without any fear of repercussion, because that's what gaming is all about. That's what being queer is all about. That's what being a human should be all about. And we just want to foster that kind of environment and just make sure that everyone is happy while doing it. But yeah.
Perfect. No, that's thank you for sharing that. And well, I think I don't have any more questions for you. And I think this is a great way to end our conversation. Just inviting everyone not only to join the Mass Bears and Cubs and all of the activities that they have planned throughout the year, but also the Boston Gamers. It's not a new group, but it is a new group for at least for this community. Just check them out online.
Yeah.
The website is it's really interesting just to read a little bit more about them. Also, I was able to look at your Instagram, which I'm really new, only been like a week now. So really interesting picture, nice guys there. So good way to interact with you guys. So thank you for joining us today, Drew. It has been a pleasure putting a face to the name and meeting you in person. Hopefully
That's the way of the world. Yeah, I know.
Right? hopefully we get to meet more bears and more gamers.
Exactly. Let's just mash it all together and have a great time. I'm sure we could have many events coming up in the next few years that everyone would love to come to. So super excited to foster that and see that come to fruition.
Excellent. Well, thank you again. And to all of you viewing this video, please give us a like and follow us, all of us, the Bears and the Gamers, and all our social media. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.
Bye.